Hello everyone, welcome back to PC Species. After a series of announcements, unannouncements, denouncements, and renouncements, AMD has finally announced the RDNA 4 cards, and they're here, and we are going to talk about them. We are going to start with the AMD Radeon RX 9070. The key point here is the 549 USD price tag, which is the same as the RTX 5070. Based on that, the India MSRP should be around 60,000 rupees. But we'll talk about the specs, we'll go to the price later. So the 9070 gets 56 compute units, 16 gigs of GDDR6 memory, 2520 MHz of boost clock, 1165 AI tops, and 220 watts of board power. Now let us compare some of these aspects to the RTX 5070. So 988 AI tops versus 1165. Now I'm not sure if these are directly comparable, but if they are, the 9070 scores a victory here. 2520 MHz of boost clock, and 2510 here. So again, by a very small margin, but a technical victory for the RX 9070. Now, 220 watts of board power for the RX 9070 and 250 for the 5070. So usually AMD lost out on power consumption, but in this case, it is scoring a decent enough victory. So based on this, the RX 9070 is looking good. Now we move on to the 9070 XT and highlight again the price 599 USD, and using the direct conversion in India it should be around 65,500 rupees MSRP. Let us talk about the specs first. 64 compute units, 16 gigs of GDDR6 memory, no GDDR7 for each of these cards, 2970 MHz of boost clock, 1557 AI tops, 304 watts of board power. Let us compare that to the 5070 Ti. 2.45 GHz of boost clock compared to 2970. So this is a big victory for the 9070 XT. 1406 AI tops, 1557. So again, if they are directly comparable, a victory for the 9070 XT. 304 watts of board power versus 300 watts. So again, on a technical basis, the gap is not too big, but on a technical basis, the 5070 Ti wins here. But the 65,500 price tag, the MSRP of 65,500 compared to the 82,000 of the 5070 Ti, the 9070 XTi is winning big. Now, there's one little hiccup. So the 9070 XT is supposed to be 65,500 and the 9070 is 60,000. The price delta between the two cards is too less in my opinion. So these cards are going to cannibalize each other's sales. More specifically, most people are going to opt for the 9070 XT if they're already going for the 9070 because the price difference is not too big and the performance difference may very well be. But let us talk about that in terms of 5070 Ti and 5070. So this is the CUDA core comparison in percentages. So 5070 Ti has 31% more cost than the 5070, and in this case the price difference is justified. 82,000 MSRP for the 5070 Ti and 60,000 for the 5070. In the same way, if we compare the compute units, the 9070 XT has a lead of around 12% in terms of that over the 9070, and the price delta here is justified. So in terms of performance and price, the price is all right for both of these cards, but then again they're too close together and the 9070 XT is going to eat into the sales of the 9070. Now in terms of performance though, I am quite sure, this is a speculation, but I'm quite sure that the 9070 is going to beat the 5070 handily, at least in terms of rasterization, and even in terms of ray tracing, it might very well trade blows with it. All right. So there's one more thing that I want to talk about when it comes to the price. There are no cards from AMD themselves. So like Nvidia has the founders edition cards, AMD does not have that this time around. Only partner cards, and they'll be available on the 6th of March. So the partners are Asus, ASRock, Gigabyte, PowerColor, Sapphire, XFX. Yesten and the other one, we don't have those here. So now we can only hope. I don't want to jinx it, but based on this, the news is looking really good. AMD is looking really good. Now, AMD has had a lot of time after the announcement and an announcement. So the stocks should be all right. And if the stocks are all right, the prices should be all right as well. So I really hope that these cards come to India at a reasonable price. So let us see how that goes. That we'll find out on the 6th of March. Now, we also have some benchmark numbers for you. Now, These are first party benchmarks from AMD themselves. The third party ones will be out on the 6th of March, but these also look all right, although I would have preferred if they tested it against the 7900 XT instead of the GRE. But then again, this is what we have for now. So let us take a look at that. RX 9070 versus 7900 GRE at 4K ultra settings. On average, it is supposed to be around 21% faster in gaming. Now, this is a combination of rasterization and ray tracing. If we have to look at individual games, so it is 26% faster than the 7900 GRE in Cyberpunk, rasterization only. And in terms of ray tracing, it is around 33% faster. So it is looking quite all right. 9070 XT versus the 7900 GRE at 1440p ultra settings. On average, it is supposed to be around 20% faster in gaming. Individually, if you want to take a look at any particular game, you can pause the video and do that. I'll just talk about Cyberpunk. So 15% faster in rasterization and 33% faster in ray tracing. Now, AMD made a point to really put it out there that these benchmarks, this is at native resolutions. So no FSR, no upscaling, no frame gen, native rasterization and ray tracing performance at the resolution shown here. Now we move on to the more exciting card of the lot, the 9070 XT versus the 7900 GRE. At 4K ultra settings, in Cyberpunk it is 48% faster, and in ray tracing it is 66% faster. Even on average, it is around 42% faster than the 7900 GRE at 4K ultra. Now we move on to 1440p ultra. So in Cyberpunk, it is around 32% faster rasterization. In ray tracing, 64% faster. On average, around 38% faster. Again, if you want to take a look at a particular game, you can pause it and take a look at it. And again, I would also like to point out, no FSR, no upscaling, no frame gen, just raw performance. This is the more interesting comparison, the 9070 XT versus the 5070 Ti. Again, first party benchmarks, we'll have to wait for the third party ones till the 6th of March. Now, the 599 USD and 749 USD or 65.5 thousand versus 82,000 MSRP. The 9070 XT already scores big here, and we've already seen that 5070 Ti is usually priced over 1 lakh in India. Now, still, let us take a look at the benchmarks, and I really like this, that even in cases where they're losing and losing big, they haven't excluded those benchmarks. Now, again, this is a small test pool, so in some other games the losses might be bigger, but the picture here is looking all right overall. So at 4K ultra against the 5070 Ti, the 9070 XT is just 2% slower. Now, if we take a look at Cyberpunk, it is actually 1% faster in rasterization, but when it comes to ray tracing, it is 19% slower. So in terms of ray tracing, AMD is still lagging behind, but they have made big strides. When we move on, now this is something that AMD pointed out. Since they do not have any of their own cards, they have board partners and an OC card with a power limit of around 340 watts. They've compared that one to the 5070 Ti, and on average it is supposed to be 2% faster than the 5070 Ti. In Cyberpunk rasterization, it is 5% faster and only 14% slower with ray tracing. So the OC card, 340 watts, the performance increases, but not a lot. Still, even the base card, with its base specs, it is going toe to toe with the 5070 Ti, at least in rasterization, and even in ray tracing, it is not as far behind as AMD used to be. So I really don't want to jinx it here. I really hope that the availability of these cards is good. I really hope that they are reasonably priced so that gamers actually have a genuine reason to switch to Team Red this time around. But we'll find out about that on the 6th of March. And on the 5th of March, we have the 5070 launch. So we'll have the prices and the reviews of it on the 5th of March. And for these cards, we'll have to wait till the 6th. Now, again, I'm really happy for AMD this time around. We'll find out more and a more realistic picture when these cards are actually out in the wild. So we'll see for that. But we are going to be making videos for the RTX 5070, even though I don't really want to, based on what's been going on. and about these cards as well. So if you like the content, please like the video. It helps us a lot. And if you're looking forward to more such content, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.